I now call upon Suzanne Spry, whom I have to say has been preparing for this for quite some time and has delayed for more pressing engagements. Please give a big hand for Suzanne.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all hear me at the back?
Go.
My name is Suzanne Spry, and on behalf of all the lassies here, I'd like to thank David Burns for his toast to the lassies. Where are you, David?
I'm hiding over here.
I just wanted to say, David, probably some of the reason why women wear tight shoes is so that by the end of the day, that's the only worry they have, is their sore feet. I'd also like to thank Donald Druss on selecting me to make this reply. It's a great honour to do this and to be part of this wonderful celebration to the life and work of Robert Burns. As some of you know and some of you don't, I've been asked to make this speech several times over the last few years, but luckily for me, I managed to get out of it by being pregnant or had just given birth. Speaking of pregnancy, now there's something men will never know exactly what that's like. On finding out my husband and I, were expecting our first, I told my husband I wished it were him that were pregnant and not me. And his response was, "I'm so glad it's you that's pregnant." I'm sure all the women would agree with me that if it were men that had to have the babies, it would surely be the end of the human race. Speaking of having babies, recently in Scotland, a midwife was called to a remote farm to help deliver a baby. On arrival, there was a massive power cut. Not to be thwarted, she put the farmer into action, bringing hot water and a large torch, or a flashlight as you Americans say. They had no other means to light the room, hence the reason for the torch. She told him to hold it steady while she delivered the baby. After 10 minutes, a baby boy was born, and the farmer was elated, and had just sat down when the midwife called him again to hold the torch. This time, a little girl arrived, followed quickly by another little boy. By this time, the farmer was in shock and collapsed into the nearest chair, exhausted. But she wasn't exhausted. Before he could draw breath, he was called again, once more, to hold the torch. "Nay fear," he said, "it's the light that's attracting them." As for Burns, he fathered several children, and it's unclear exactly how many. But his first child, and the first of several to be named Elizabeth, was born to Elizabeth Patton, or Peyton, a servant girl in the Burns household. Elizabeth Burns's birth was celebrated in a poet's welcome to his love-begotten daughter. The poet asked, "Lord, grant that thou may inherit thy mother's looks and graceful merit, and thy poor worthless daddy's spirit without his failings. 'Twill please me mair to see thee hear it than stock it mailings." We all want the best for our children, and parents, especially men it seems, can be disappointed when their offspring don't seem as keen as they are in their hobbies and interests. My husband commented on how disappointed he was in our son Max, because he wasn't more into the quad bike four-wheeling that he was. I must point out in Max's defence that the noise of the engine would have frightened any child, let alone a poor wee 10-month-old baby. A baby Max is no more, and he's grown into a very entertaining wee man. who now loves the four-wheeling quad bike riding and throws a fit if Daddy dares leave the house without him. And even more of a fit if Daddy goes on the quad bike without him. So, of course, when Mummy leaves the house, there's no trouble at all. So, no guilt there. This reminds me of a tale I heard about a little girl around Max's age. Her mother had gone out for the day, leaving the father in charge. He, as usual, was engrossed in the TV or the internet. So she brought him a wee cup of tea, which was just water, of course. After several cups of tea and a lot of praise for such yummy tea, the mother came home. The father made her wait in the living room to watch his little princess bring him a cup of tea, because it was just the cutest thing. The mother waited, and sure enough, the daughter came down the hall with a cup of tea for Daddy. She watched him drink it all up, and then said, "Did it ever occur to you that the only place a toddler can reach to get water is the toilet?" So ladies, whether there are sons, husbands, fathers, brothers, grandfathers, uncles, nephews or friends, we love them all. And ladies, please can you stand and raise a glass with me? As we raise a toast to the men.